tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG.
Hello, and welcome to Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG talk. I am Russ, aka Morris, or Morris, aka Russ, and with me this week is
PJ Coffey from the Southampton Guild of Roleplayers, also from Homebrew and Hacking TTRPG Design. Russ, Jess, as ever, I am delighted to be here, and with that, I have spoiled my introduction. I don't care, because I can do it anyway. Because joining us all the way from the darkest bowels, the dark satanic mills of the depths of EM Publishing, it is the overlady of the hardworking minions that you can find there. It's the one. It's the only.
It's me, Jessica from EM Publishing. I thought you were just talking about the area I live in. So yeah, Eastleigh is...
Eastleigh, yeah. Although I'm not entirely sure I agree with that characterisation of EM Publishing, quite frankly. It's a bright and airy place, is EM Publishing. There are no dark satanic mills here.
Good to be queen, I hear. Okay, good to be queen. Very well.
So how are we all? Ready for another day, another week of TTRPG news?
Yes, although we are in that between convention lull. So Gen Con has happened, but Essen and other big conventions are kind of not quite launched yet. So people are kind of hoarding their release information like dragons with treasure. But nevertheless,
we've got stuff. We have stuff. We have stuff. Never fear. I scoured the internet, all of the internet, and found some stuff for us to talk about.
You want to go scouring the internet, Russ? It's very bad.
That's a bad idea, isn't it?
You should use gentle, non-abrasive polish.
Yeah,
otherwise you might get part in your hands.
Yes, yeah, and you never know what you'll find when you scour the internet. It's a dangerous place. Is that their internet?
Well, I found some fairly interesting Kickstarters. Apparently, I'm the only one who's looked, so it's going to be an interesting show this week. So long as you like listening to the sound of my voice. If you don't,
well, we've got some news to get through first, and then you can do a nice big Kickstarter segment. So let's start off with D&D.
Very well,
as we often do, because D&D is going to their Plano or Plano, Texas. Plano? Does anybody know? Somebody probably does, but I do not. On October the 15th.
Wonderful. If you live there.
So that was that Immersive Quest thing that started in Toronto.
And it's got that
would
big
explain the web address.
Yeah. It has that great big life-size beholder that has someone standing inside it to make, I guess, the tentacles wiggle and the mouth move. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we announced that job posting. I remember it was like, if you can carry this much weight and stand for this number of hours, this is the job for you. Someone is back there.
So Grant at BSP tells me that it is a long A sound, so it's Plano, Texas. Thanks for the clarification.
And I'm going to guess it's dndimmersive.com as opposed to dndimmersive or dimmersive, which I was like, what is that word? And then I realized that's not
dndimmersive.com. Yes. So this is a 60-minute live experience.
Yes.
There's multimedia stations, immersive theatre, cinematic video, a marketplace, and a restaurant, which will be my favourite bit, featuring themed food and beverages.
Well,
I love food and beverages.
I love food. Yes, I love food and beverages too.
I have them every day.
It sounds a bit like an escape room meets a bar.
Yeah, kind of. I don't know how much it's just passive watching and how much is active doing.
It reminds me of Secret Cinema, if you've ever been to one of those. They create the world and you get to walk around and look at things. So a bit like a theme park, maybe.
Someone on EN World did actually go to the Toronto one and posted a rundown.
Nice.
So This is what they said. So, a light-hearted and fun way. This, by the way, was Canic on EN World, and this was posted in December 2024 when it was in
Wow.
Toronto.
Okay.
A light-hearted and fun way to spend a few hours. Was it impressive and amazing? Not really. Was it super innovative and offered excellent gaming? Also not really. Was it a bit cheesy? Heck yes. So pure D&D on that point. Does it feel like it was made by those who have a love for the game? Yes, indeed.
Okay.
I think that's what I'd expect. People that are really passionate about it, but it is a bit cheesy because it's going to have lots of nods to the classic D&D things in a very sort of way.
Yeah.
But I didn't get the impression that it was a gaming event. I didn't think I'm going to sit down.
So I have got description here of the actual experience, but it's quite long. So if I try and whip through this really quickly and just paraphrase it as I read it.
If
so
you
basically,
don't want spoilers because you're going to go, skip out for a minute.
Yes, this is spoilery. Skip forward about 5 minutes if you don't want them. Oh, no, I won't do it, actually. No spoilers. I'll put a link in the show notes instead. If you want to know, go and follow the link to the show notes. That's a better way to do it, I
All
think.
right, stay here then. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
Grand Up PSP says, who taught you phonics, lol? Nobody taught me phonics, lol.
Russ predates the teaching of phonics.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, D&D, the Immersive Quest, heading to Texas, starting on October the 15th. It costs $35.
$35 for a few hours entertainment.
Yeah.
I think teaching phonics might actually be an American thing. I don't know. Were you taught phonics at school, Jessica?
No.
No, me neither. I got it's those things where you get a couple of little lines with a thing in between them, and I'm like, I see those on like Wikipedia articles on how to pronounce something. I look at it as like, what? It's like hieroglyphics, isn't it? I don't know what that is. Never been taught that in my life.
But in some languages,
Really? I would never have guessed.
In English, you do need them, but in other languages, like in Welsh, you don't need it because everything you just say how it's written. So if you've seen a word that you've never heard, and you will know how to pronounce it from reading it because all the sounds are consistent. It's not like in English where it's Spanish like that too. I don't speak Spanish, so I wouldn't know.
I did not know that about Welsh though, so thank you for sharing. Yeah, but English, like there was a great linguistic shift. There were people doing dictionaries.
I suppose to be fair, probably a good third of the words in English are not pronounced the way I hear it.
We're looking at you, Knigget.
Knigget, yeah.
Yes.
Knigget.
Yes, which is nowadays night with a K. So there you go.
It's a challenging language to be dyslexic in, I tell you.
Stand-up comic, and I can't remember who, did a bit on what if all the silent letters were actually out loud.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. I'm fairly sure Knigget was in there.
I think Q is an interesting word as well. Because you really just need the one letter.
For Q, and then a load of silent letters. Yes.
Yeah, they formed a Q beside it.
It's a very British word.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the tabletop RPG news. Do we have more D&D news?
Yes, do we have more D&D news?
We have more D&D news. We've got a look at Heroes of the Borderlands. So Heroes of the Borderlands is the D&D starter set that's coming later this year. When I say later this month, it's literally next week, I think, the 16th. Is that next week or the week after? It's soon, anyway.
Week after.
We've had a lot of media hype around this. They've had loads of previews for a really long time. Because I think for about 6 months, I've been hearing about this starter set.
Yeah, they've been pushing it hard. But what we've got is a really close-up look of the character boards or the class boards.
Yes.
So if you recall, the setup is basically you get a board for each class, and then you place cards onto that board in order to customize it. So this is the cleric board. And
obviously, Jessica, I imagine you also are feeling that this looks exactly like a player aid in a board game.
Yes, it does. Yes. And I think that's really clever. It feels very accessible. It feels easy to use. I like it. I think this is quite innovative. I know D&D aren't the only people doing this. There are other RPGs that I've seen do this as well. And my mind is blanking at the name. So please scream at me on the internet if you know which ones those are. But I really like this as a thing that's appearing in the industry.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely inspired by board games, without a doubt. Although I would say sort of FFG's Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay was very much like this as well. Yeah. And of course, Daggerheart's a little bit like this too. So, so I guess, it's not original, but it's a welcome addition. If you look on
Yes.
that, there's some interesting things you can see. You can see there's no ability scores on there. So you've got a cleric board.
Yes.
On the left, you've got the ability modifiers, but not the scores.
Yeah.
Then you've got slots where you place various things. You can put your armor in that slot, and you can put your spells and your equipment in this slot. And over on the right, you can put your background and your species. And all this builds your character on this board.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can I just say, by the way, I'm looking at this. I'm actually quite irritated.
Oh,
dear.
oh no,
No,
discuss.
It's not like you.
Well, indeed, but that's because I don't think that you should give bad pre-gens to players. I think that as a designer, you should give good pre-gens to players so that they their mistakes can be their own, as opposed to being let down by your shoddy mechanical choices.
Oh, what are you saying here that's bad? I haven't looked into it in detail.
Well, you know exactly what this problem is if I say it's the Shadowheart problem. Because Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3, she starts off with dumping decks with a negative penalty in it, and she's got -1, and she starts off with a chain shirt. A chain shirt adds your dexterity mod, or in this case, subtracts it from your armor class. So that's so you got a cleric starting off with AC 12, which is quite frankly appalling, and just means that if anyone looks at you funny, they're probably going to hit, and you will be stabbed at by goblins just every time. Armor class 9, starting card, change that. If it was like,
Well, this is what it looks like if you add some cards to it. Look, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. 13 plus dex mod. Okay, so 13 -1 is 12.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got a strength of +2, which means they would definitely be able to wear like a chainmail shirt. Not a chainmail shirt, a chainmail, sorry, which would give them AC 16. And it's like, why, if you know you've got a low dex, would you go with a chain shirt? This is a terrible plan for you.
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess giving them minuses.
Seems bad. Seems bad.
I see.
It's like, you've taken on
But then that just happened. It looks like to be the piece of equipment that pre-gen chose. They could have chosen a different item because there's cards for different. Yeah, there's cards for different things. So just because they've used a chain shirt here doesn't mean that the player might not have taken a different piece of equipment.
I mean, it's a pre-gen. They're not going to know better. You just play with what you got.
I mean, I think the design of this as well, it very much gives you the information you need. Like you say, that it's just the modifiers there. You don't see the maths behind it. So this starter set really just gets you in and playing. It's not going to teach you how to build it, what's the mechanics behind the scenes. But that's not what it's trying to do. But I think that does speak to PJ's point, because they don't have the levers behind the scenes to pull. They're not going to know, oh, actually, if I just tweaked this, then I would have a better outcome with this. So I do see the point you're making, PJ. It's giving them a disadvantage that they're not in a position to really mitigate.
Yeah, and also it's like you're going to encourage people when they hit level 4 to put points into decks, which you can do. That's not the worst possible choice in all worlds to make. But like, you're a cleric, you should probably be putting it into wisdom, so your spells are more effective and it does a lot for you. Whereas here, like, well,
Well, okay. I mean, aside
with my low armor class and my chain shirt, and it's just like, you don't have to do this to your players. You could be nice to your players, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
What?
Aside from that, if we have a look at this this thing, it's quite interesting. So hit points are tokens, as you can see there.
Yes.
You've got little hearts to represent your hit points.
Yeah, absolutely. Decent way to do it. Like, that's good.
Yeah, you've got a card there representing your current weapon, which has the stats for that weapon on it and tells you what to roll, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
You have your spell, your bless spell is on there as a card.
Mm-hmm.
And then over on the right, we've got dwarf and acolyte, which is their background and their species. I assume on the back of those cards, it presumably has a list of the dwarf traits, and on the back of the acolyte, it has the list of whatever's relevant there too. Because,
of course, a dwarf, right, does not have a penalty for having heavy armor that they don't have the strength score. So this further adds to my irritation. It's just like, I don't know, as part of it, it's just like, they could be a dwarf, they could have done strength and had a chain shirt, and they wouldn't have had any penalties still. And they could have had a better dex. which
Okay.
would have meant a better initiative modifier. It's just
All
this
right,
is
all
a
right.
very
We get it, Peter. We get it.
okay. Like I don't know who this is saying that, but this is really, really annoying me about this set already. It's like,
Yeah,
why
oh
would
yeah,
you-
I can see.
yeah. Like it's just
Why did you have to pick the cleric as the example, Russ? Though there
I
are
didn't
other
pick the
options.
cleric. Wizards of the
Russ
Coast
didn't
picked
pick
the
it.
cleric.
Do you think
Wizards of the Coast have picked this to annoy me. It's like
Yeah.
it's a choice.
specifically you? They're like that. PJ.
That was the preview they provided. I
Yeah.
don't have a preview of another class. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, and they totally haven't dumped Constitution. Like a +0 modifier will be absolutely fine when you're doing Concentration checks. This is like a great build. Nothing to be said against it.
Anyway, moving on. When you
Yeah.
hit level 2, you flip the card over.
Mm.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then when you get to level 3, you swap your class board for a more specialized one.
Ooh. Exciting.
Because you got more stuff
So-
going on.
Yeah. So here we
Yeah.
go. This is the next stage of the character. Got a breastplate now. Look, see,
Yeah.
got a breastplate now, and
Which, instead of having 14, has AC 13. So you're making players deduct 1 from their armor every single time. If this dwarf a shield.
so the class board then has at level 3 a more specialized board, which includes a subclass.
Yes.
In the box set, this one would include boards for either the life or the light domains in the starter box set.
And we're looking for those of you at home at the Life Cleric, which just to remind you means that whenever you cast a spell that helps a creature gain hit points, they gain additional hit points equal to 2 plus the spell's level, which is not to be sneezed at. That's pretty sweet. And obviously they'll be needing to cast it on themselves because they'll be losing more hit points than their because they've got such a stinky armor class. Bah! I say. Bah!
Why didn't you mention this before, PJ?
Yeah.
I don't know. I bit my lip. I tried to soldier through, but yet here we are.
Anyway, so what? So other than the dexterity score and the armor class, what do we think of this setup?
I think a lot of it looks really cool. I really like the artwork I'm seeing. A character wearing glasses, unusual, nice. She's black, no beard, but you can't have everything. And has a ginger cat with her, so that's like the artwork almost makes up for my dislike of the dumping dexterity and constitution.
Sorry, you don't like the dexterity and constitution? What? Sorry, what do you mean? Could you explain?
No, stop.
I regret saying it. I regret saying it. I didn't say that.
Oh, Russ, I'm going to actually tell you.
Character build aside, I like it. It feels very accessible for somebody new to play. It feels like you can sit down and just kind of get going, and it will create a different experience. Because I quite enjoy when I'm learning a new role-playing game, having a session 0 where we all sit around with our pens and papers and build stuff, because I'm kind of learning the mechanics and how things work as we build for a session. But I appreciate not everyone enjoys that, wants to do that, and also doesn't have the time. Like maybe if you're just at a convention, you're like, hey, let's sit down and play this. So it feels ideally suited to what it's trying to do. And also it seems clever from a business perspective, because if people start playing this way and get used to it, they're going to be very reliant on D&D Beyond.
I will also say, and this may shock both of you, but you know what? A lot of people, when they come to roleplay, come for the stories. They don't come for the homework.
Yeah, no, I know.
I know.
I'm totally that person. I've often said I pick my role-playing games based on the story and what we're doing more than the system.
Yeah.
Because I can make any system work, really.
Yeah. I mean, that's largely true. You can. It's just like sitting and doing character generation. Does it take a good 2 minutes? Like I played Barbarians for Lemuria the other day. Someone else was running it for me. It was great. It's very easy to create a character, very quick. You just make a couple of decisions and then you can start playing. You can do a whole adventure in like a 3-hour slot. D&D, when you know what you're doing, you're still looking at about 20 minutes.
Yeah, at least.
You could spend much longer.
Bear in mind that some people do enjoy that process, though. There are people on D&D Beyond who just make loads of characters because they like doing that, and they're never going to use them. They make 20th level characters just to make these builds and experiment with them and tweak them and things like that, just to see what they can do.
I do like doing that as well. That's how I saw someone had been tweaking with it and made this combat medic build. So it was a rogue who was a medic, and I was like, this is really cool. Is it the most optimized thing? No, but it's fun and it works. So I played that for a campaign.
Yeah, but it's not anti-synergistic, by which I mean you're not like dumping dexterity to play this rogue.
Oh no, it works. It works on fast hands, and
exactly. It's like it's thematic, it's flavorful. Like, is it the absolute best for all situations? Probably not. No. But you know what? No. I've had fun with a run for Celesta with a rogue who just runs around and says, "Oh, healing potion for you, healing potion for you," and that's fun.
Mm.
Yeah.
I do wonder with this setup how extendable it is, because these only go up to, I think, level 3. Or maybe level 4.
Yeah.
I don't think it is very, because there's too many variances in different character classes, character subclasses.
And you're talking a board per character level per class, because each class, as you can see here, they've got a board for level 1 cleric, a board for level 2 cleric. So each class, if you wanted to extend it, you've got 13 classes times 20 levels times, say 3 subclasses. That's how many boards you need. So what's that? 13 times 20 is 260 times 3 is you're up to like 750 boards you need.
No,
so it's not extendable.
But I don't think the intention is for this to replace it for longer term campaigns. I think this is like just get started, get playing, get them hooked. This is the first one's free, kids.
And then move on to D&D Beyond, because you look at the paper character sheet and you're like, what is this garbage? I don't understand.
Yeah. And I imagine this setup, when you're 20th level, would involve so much stuff. Many cards and tokens and chips and counters.
Everyone would need their own desk, with a big, like when you play Magic the Gathering and you have a rollout mat, you'd need like 2 of them. You'd need 2 of them, 2 rollout neoprene mats with all your, especially if you're a spellcaster or something.
Well, you're going to be struggling by the time you get to 5th.
That's the problem I had with Fantasy Flight Games' Warhammer, though, because that was very much like this. It was very much card and token based, your character, all laid out in front of you. And there was so much stuff. It was just a mess. And everything, you kept knocking things and things got mixed up with the person next to you. And, it was just too much stuff.
Like, big fan of Fantasy Flight Games, but the very valid and fair criticism that always pointed at them, and maybe that's changed in recent years, I don't know, is that they clearly have stakes in a cardboard manufacturing factory, because my goodness, they have far too many tokens. So I think there is a middle ground where you don't have quite so many tokens. But like D&D, like, this is a good way to get it started. But
one thing that you could take through is I really like having those hearts for health tokens. And they have numbers on like 5, 10s and 1s. Because I don't like doing maths, and I like the idea of having them on my board to just like, I quite like the idea of that.
I'm going to take a punt, right, and say that you have a board game which has a bunch of little hearts in.
Yeah, I definitely
don't know what that board game is.
Oh, I do. I only have about somewhere in the region of 70 to 90 board games currently. So, but I'm sure one of them will.
Like,
I'm fairly sure that gold pieces work the same as well. I think you've got tokens for gold pieces as well in this.
I'll have something. You'll need the digits, because like you can't have all of them being 1 hit point, because by the time you're level 10, you'll be like,
you got 5 hit points we can see on this board here.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So if you have like 5s, 10s, 1s and stuff, you could that's interesting. That might be something I consider for future games, because I dislike doing maths. But anyway, I'm interested in the new D&D starter set. I'm not the person that's going to buy it, but I think it's a really good idea, and I think it will be helpful to get new people into the game.
Yeah. It's not cheap though. As starter sets go, I mean, I think it's worth it. Don't get me wrong. But it is $49.99. but you get a lot of
Okay.
stuff in it. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like the old starter sets, which are kind of pretty much an empty box with a few bits of paper in them. These are crammed full of
that's
stuff.
a little unfair, but yeah.
Mildly
I-
hyperbolic, shall we say?
Yeah.
And this is for the
legit.
whole table, so one person would buy it, and it's not like everyone needs to buy one of these.
Yeah,
I can see it being useful at role-playing clubs, schools, conventions, things like that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, September the 16th. So in a couple of weeks, it comes out $49.99. So you can pick it up then.
That's
Marvelous.
exciting times.
Yeah. Right then, Pathfinder. So last week, I think it was, we mentioned that Pathfinder was switching to a quarterly adventure path format.
Yes.
Instead of the previous monthly magazines, yeah.
Yeah. So I thought we'd have a quick look at what the first one is.
Ooh, let's have a mooch.
And that is Hellbreakers Adventure Path.
Hellfire Crisis.
Yeah. So
I'm
this is coming in March
already-
2026.
I already feel stressed.
It's got Sen in it. Sen HHS, who worked on the
Indeed.
book. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good for her.
So 256 pages.
Yeah.
This will take you from levels 1 to 10.
Nice.
It will cost you $79.99, which is a lot of people are saying that's a lot for a hardcover book. But as we said last week, if you bought the original format, the soft covers of the Adventure Path, that format, it would cost you an extra $10. It would cost you $89.99. So, you know, you're actually saving $10 there and saving quite a lot of shipping because you're only getting one shipment rather than 6.
And
I mean, are you paying for it? Sorry.
The one thing I was going to say is I also think this is kind of what role-playing books should cost. And I know this is a controversial thing, but creating games, especially Pathfinder, the adventures are really good quality. So they have some great people working on it, writing it, the artwork, look how beautiful that is. You know, it's there's a lot that goes into developing a book. And I know when people buy a role-playing book, they think of the cost of printing the thing, but the cost of printing the thing is generally the cheapest part of the process. Anyway, that's just my little rant.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason I've said many times that, you know, that's why 90% of the TTRPG creator industry is working for less than minimum wage.
Yeah.
Because you can't actually sell the products for what they're actually worth, given the amount of work that goes into them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unless you're at Wizards of the Coast print run sale, because then obviously the cost per unit's down.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they sell their
outlier.
books way cheaper than
Look, we can't have a serious conversation about the TTRPG industry and include Wizards of the Coast, except as an outlier, because it is an outlier.
Yep.
It's just not. It's just what they do there is not really relevant, except in as much as they set prices, and their behaviour distorts the market because they are a de facto monopoly. Which I'm sure there are people leaping into the comments, even as I speak, who do not know what a monopoly is.
It's the board game.
Because it's not. Yeah.
a bad board game.
Yeah.
A terrible board
Monopoly
game.
Isn't the case where you just have a single person, a single unit that's selling everything. It's where you have a distorting effect on the market. Tesco's was regarded as a monopoly in the UK because 1 in every £8 was spent at Tesco's. Like, you know, other supermarkets are available, but it was considered to have a monopoly effect. Anyway, that takes us to things like antitrust suits and so forth, which is
it's a bit of a side topic though.
Sorry,
we're talking about...
I steered us off. Let's get back to Pathfinder Hellbreakers Adventure Path.
Yes,
it looks
What do we
exciting.
know?
I've got the description here. I could try and read it out for you if you wish.
Yeah, go on,
As the Hellfire crisis dawns and spreads its turmoil throughout Avistan, the nation of Isgare is being shaken up by the rebel organization, the Hellbreakers League, which seeks to break Isgare free of its oppressor and patron nation of infernal Cheliax. Player characters will carry out daring missions against Chelaxian strongholds, face off with the deadly Hell Knights, and strike out against the forces of Hell itself.
Okay. Got some
Sounds like
demons.
fun.
Liberation.
Yeah.
That's jolly.
Yeah.
So in practical terms, like this was on a subscription, would you end up paying $80 plus shipping every quarter? Because that could be a bit of a hit to your bank balance, or are they still allowing you to essentially pay in installments?
That I do not know.
Right. Because
Can't
that
tell you
feels
that.
like it'd be quite important.
Yeah,
If you could pay in
I don't know.
installments, that would help maybe with people's cash flow.
Well,
I did notice on the product page on Paizo's website, it does say at the bottom of the description, it does say this book is part of the Adventure Path subscription program. So I think possibly you still carry on paying this. I don't know.
You've answered my question there, because I was about to say, is it a subscription or is it just we're releasing this book by the book?
Or it might have changed to a quarterly subscription.
I think that, by the sounds of what you just said, I think that's what it is.
A quarterly subscription.
Sense.
Well, we don't know. We're just guessing. It feels like the sort of thing we should know, but we don't know.
I think that would make sense, because what if you did monthly and then one of your payments partway through the month missed, or you cancelled it? You know, they can't send you half a book. That would just be messy.
Yeah, no, you're right. It would have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because
if you're on a subscription service for a book and your subscription doesn't go through, they just don't send you the book. But if that was monthly,
but if you paid for half of the book, then yeah.
Then where does it leave us?
Unless they just send you the cover or something.
Well, I mean, if somebody does the back end,
there's somebody employed at Paizo that just rips out some of the pages. That's their job. They sit there and say, right, he's only paid like 2 out of 4 subscriptions. We'll rip out all the odd pages.
I don't think that's what they'll do, but what do I know? I just do the operations anyway.
Yeah.
This is why you do the operations and Russ just, I don't know, sits in the chair. He would stroke a cat if he liked cats. Anyway.
He does like cats.
I don't have a monocle.
You could.
Why do you think I don't like cats? I don't understand why you think I don't like cats, given the fact that I have a cat.
The Sharon's cat. Well,
is it because the cat doesn't like Russ? That's a different conversation.
It's not that the cat doesn't like me. The cat just ignores me and pretends I don't exist.
That's very unfair. Ripley bought you flowers only last year or the year before, so yeah.
That is true.
And you spurned these gifts and were quite ungracious about them. So, quite frankly, I can see why she sees you as not liking her. So there you go.
Oh well.
Anyway,
I guess it's hard being a cat.
I think it is.
Yeah, club life.
Would you like to talk about Draw Steel?
Yeah, go on then.
Yes.
Because we got told off for not Waivers of the World just spotted the flaw in my plan to rip out the odd numbered pages. Yeah, I realised that as soon as I said it, but I thought if no one else mentions it, I won't. But Rai says, aren't the odd numbered pages on the back of the even numbered pages? Yeah.
And this is why Jess handles operations.
Not in my new format, they're not. All the pages are one-sided, especially so that you can rip out the odd-numbered ones.
In your new world order, so every book is printed in A0, so that you can actually fit the titles that you have come up with on the front.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. That's for our new listeners. This is like an old running joke about Russ. His love of terrible titles. And how he thinks books should be bigger. And also so they could be in a sufficiently large print so you can read them properly.
Anyway. So, Draw Steel.
Yes.
So we got told off for not covering Draw Steel when it came out, and that was mainly because A, I hadn't realised it had come out, and B, I hadn't seen anything about it. And I think it kind of suffered a little bit because the Daggerheart, PR machine was just kind of swamping everything in the industry for a few weeks.
Oh, yes.
It was Daggerheart everywhere. So,
yes.
Anyway, we have
Daggerheart was killing off D&D, but sadly appears to have not done so. Okay.
No, it has not done. It was never going to do so.
Yeah, I know.
But Draw Steel is out.
Yes.
At least in PDF, you can pre-order the hardcovers, but in PDF, it is out. So what's been released?
Exciting.
Yeah. What's been released so far is the Player's book, which is called Heroes. The Monsters book, which is called Monsters. and an
Strong.
adventure with a very old school looking cover on there called the Delian Tomb.
Oh, it
The
is,
lion. Oh, interesting.
Or Delian, maybe. Who knows?
yeah. Or
I
the
think
Delian.
Or Delian.
Delian.
That's
Delian.
Yeah.
the tomb of unpronounceability. Marvelous.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, now
Yeah.
Australian tombs.
Yeah. So this is like, it's a big old thing. It's like 400 pages. These books are 400 pages with like a dense layout with lots of text and tables and stuff. So there's a lot of content there. It really is. I'm going to say it is a fairly, the 13th Age.
Yes.
It's a diametrically opposite game to 13th Age. And I'm going to go into some description of it in a minute and you'll see why.
Oh yeah, I'm interested to learn more. I don't know much about it, so I'm glad you've done a deep dive and done a bit of research.
Okay, so.
You mean 13th? Do you mean 13th Age? Okay, all right. No.
Yes, when I said 13th Age, I meant 13th Age. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Not the 15th.
Not 15th Age, no.
Okay.
No.
I played the 12th Age, but then. Yeah.
So, this was originally called the MCDM RPG back in, what was it, 2 years ago, I think? 2024, maybe? Early 2024?
2023. Project ended on January 5th, 2024. So it was clearly a Christmas job. Mm-hmm.
So that was a crowdfunder, which made over $4.5 million with over 30,000 backers. So it was massive.
Yeah.
Enormous. Did incredibly well.
Yes.
I mean, as you can see here, it is the fourth biggest tabletop role-playing crowdfunder in history.
Nice.
$4,500 there.
Nice.
And if you take out Avatar and Brandon Sanderson's Cosmic, because both those are kind of outliers at the 10 plus region, it's kind of the second biggest. And Gloomhaven, I suppose you would take out because it was a board game with a attached role-playing game. So it might actually be the biggest.
I will stand on that point because it's like there's Gloomhaven box is like 140, 150 quid, and like slapping like a tiny little role-playing game on top of it, and it's like, oh, it's a role-playing game, Kickstarter. No, it isn't.
In fairness, I don't think it was a tiny role-playing game stuck on it. I think that is actually a role-playing game version. There is a hefty book that goes with it. So I will stand on the other side. And I do take your point that if you have to buy a 150 quid board game to play a role-playing game, like I see why it did well. But I will say it's a role-playing game. Anyway.
I mean, perhaps I was confused about the size of the role-playing game due to the enormity of the box it was next to. Perhaps that threw me off. Who can say? Anyway. So either way, top 5. Arguably,
well, I suppose technically you could say it's the biggest original, like non-licensed TTRPG crowdfunder ever.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
By a long shot, in fact. Yeah. So, did really, really well. So I thought I'd do a quick sort of dive into it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now bear in mind that I've not played this game.
Yes.
And I might get some of this wrong, and someone will shout at me, and fine.
But we're not worried about that.
Why are you doing this then?
This is your understanding. This is your understanding of the game from reading it and researching it. So this is the news you're presenting us.
Yes, yeah. So just to look at it, the art is incredible. It's gorgeous.
From the cover, it looks really classic fantasy, but with some interesting twists and monsters. Because looking in the background, I can see there's some classic imps and things, but then there's a weird skull spiky worm thing with skulls on. So it looks classic fantasy, but interesting, which I think the picture.
I saw someone online say that it
is an angel, I guess.
Yeah, someone online said it very much reminds them of the art style, very much sort of like the Marvel films. It's kind of like everyone can fly around and shoot laser beams and has lightning crackling off their weapons and all this sort of stuff. That's kind of a bit comic booky, I suppose, in a sense.
I mean, yeah, like in the sense that we've got that whole quadratic mages, linear martials going on. Yeah. That's the visual language that's giving me. Like you got a rogue, they got a sharp sword, very good with their sword. And you've got a cleric who can empower their mace with magical power whilst also blasting away with their other hand. Great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, this sort of game, you do want that level of power fantasy. I want to play this type of fantasy role-playing game because I want to feel like a big damn hero. So yeah, I do want to jump around shooting lasers and magic, whatever's, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You can play the person who can jump around doing magic lasers out of their hands, or you can play the person with the sword.
Yeah. I have a slight problem. My earphones just pinged at me telling me that they're about to run out of battery, which means I clearly didn't charge them up overnight. So yes, so I'm going to take them out and we're going to check if you can still hear me. I guess my...
Nope.
You have just been muted.
Yes.
Try that. Am I now audible?
Yes, you do sound like you're at the bottom of a well.
Yeah, okay.
And we are getting...
There's not a lot I can do about that. I've just set them on charge, so they might charge over the next sort of 10-15 minutes, and then I'll put them back in. But for a few minutes, I'm afraid, that's the audio we're going to get.
Possibly, we should skip to a break.
Should we do that? That's a good idea. Should we
Let's do a break.
Let's do a quick break.
8-minute break, and then we will return.
Okay.
Tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG.
Hello. Right. How's my audio now?
I can hear you. I do have an echo though.
Don't think your headphones are switched on, Russ.
Yes, they are now. There we go.
Oh, that sounds much better.
Right. Okay. We're back. Talking about Draw Steel, which was released a couple of weeks ago in PDF format, not yet in print. We were just talking about the art style.
I was
And how utterly gorgeous this book is.
Yes, there's an armor. It's like a beholder, but obviously legally distinct because it's a heavily armored one, if you can imagine such a thing.
And its eyeballs are not on stalks.
Not on stalks, yes.
Yes.
It's not all stalk.
Yeah.
It's like a tentacly meatball with teeth and many eyes wearing a helmet.
Yes.
I think that's fair. Yeah. And lots of teeth. Rows and rows of them.
Sharp.
Yeah.
It's also got teeth around its central eyeball, which feels... Does it bite people with its eyeballs?
Don't you?
Imagine how painful... You know when you get an eyelash in your eye and it's kind of a bit painful? Imagine if a tooth came loose and got in your eye. That's worse. But anyway, we like the art, is the summary of that discussion.
Yeah,
what else?
It is like very, very high production values. I mean, given the fact that it made $4.5 million on Kickstarter, that's no surprise.
Yeah.
You would expect it to be very high production values, but it is gorgeous. So one of the things about this thing is very cinematic. Like the GM is called the director, and the whole game is set up to make sure you can always do something. You are always doing something.
Okay.
So. It takes out a lot of the things that take you out of the game, like stuns and things like that, to make sure you're always playing. You can't whiff anymore. You can't miss. You can't even miss anymore. When in combat, for example, when you make an attack, you do damage, even if you make a really bad roll. And instead of hit points, they have stamina, because it basically means the opponent still had to use up stamina to defend against that attack. So basically, it's not damage on a miss, but it's like there's no miss. It's like every roll does something.
You were telling me this was the exact opposite of 13th Age, and that sounds very similar to date. But please
wait till you see how tactical and gritty and complex it is, though.
13th Age does famously not involve grids, which I would say is actually a big point.
This is very, very heavily grid based, very heavily. There's an awful lot of like abilities and things, and it describes distances in squares even rather than distance. It's that grid based. It will say this thing is 2 squares high rather than 10 feet high, sort of thing. So it is a complex game. I mean, the basic system is you use 2d10 to attack or have a task, and whatever you roll, something's going to happen. You're not going to roll your attack roll and nothing happens. So basically, what happens is you get different tiers of effect.
Is this a D100 roll or are the
no 2d10? So you've got a bell curve for adding the 2 numbers together.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you roll 11 or less, you get a tier 1 result. If you roll 12 to 16, you get a tier 2 result. If you roll 17 to 18, you get a tier 3 result, and then 19 to 20 is a crit.
Okay. That's fun.
And what's interesting there is at no point was an armor class requested. So if you're making an attack roll, you're making that roll. If you roll 9, you've got a tier 1 result. The defender's attack armor class is irrelevant.
Yeah. It sounds like they've considered the problems of playing at a table. For instance, saving throws are actually surprisingly time intensive, because like a D&D saving throw, you have to say, okay, I need you to make a save. And as the GM, I have to say, okay, what save would I have to make? And then you say dexterity, and I have to ask you again, What's the difficulty class of this save? Don't have to roll the
It
dice.
makes up for that in other ways. It is a complex
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
It's the attack
But
rolls
it's
are
like,
quick.
yeah, but the attack rolls are quick, and I'm guessing that there are various different defenses that you have in a manner similar to, say, 13th Page.
Defenses in what sense?
In the sense that armor class or whatever would not be the only thing. There would be something. Well, actually,
No, you
armor.
don't roll against a defense. That's the point. You don't roll against a defense.
You just hit
It's a
it.
straight roll.
Yes.
And if you roll, then a tier 1 result will be, okay, you do this damage. Tier 2 will be, oh, you do a bit more damage and you add this condition. Tier 3 would be, oh, you do more damage and you add a couple of conditions. And then a crit is like a tier 3, but you also get an extra action.
Yeah.
You get to take an extra action because you critted.
Yeah, so they've just taken a whole pile of stuff out of the table interactions, which wasn't really doing that much in the first place. Okay, I like what they're doing. Tell me more.
Yeah. So that's basically the basic system. So character creation is it's a big old section of the book. It's quite complex. It's very, very customizable. Lots and lots and lots of options to choose. Loads of them.
Yeah.
So we've got ancestries. So there's 12 of those.
Okay.
And they kind of, you can tell they're kind of steering away from D&D.
Yes.
So while they do have a human, a dwarf, an elf, and an orc and a halfling, they change those, and also they add a devil, a memonok, or memonek, sorry, which as far as I can make out is some kind of alien robot, I think.
Cool.
We've got revenants, which are which are undead. We've got like time raiders, which are like Githyanki with 4 arms.
Okay.
Nice.
And then we've got humans, we've got dwarfs, but they actually have kind of rocky. I think they're made of rock, but there's a rocky element to their biological makeup.
Yeah.
We've got high elves. We've got woad elves, WODE elves, which I guess is wood elves, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Just change the spelling slightly. We've got some hakans, which are giants, or like half giants.
As pictured from the heroes
orcs.
book.
Yeah. We've got orcs. We've got halflings, but they're not called halflings. They're called polders, and they can meld into the shadows.
Ooh, stealthy.
And then we've got these sort of dragonborn types as well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I am immediately a little disappointed because it feels like they're just going back to those whole racial stereotypes. Like you wouldn't have like a polder that would be raised in the Woad Elf tradition. It feels like
no. They do separate out biology and culture.
Okay, didn't sound like it, but I'm excited again. Let's go.
Yeah. So we have ancestries each have these signature traits, and then they have a bunch of optional purchase traits you can choose from. So each ancestry, you're making choices. Even though you've chosen a dwarf, you're then choosing a bunch of different things.
You got a heritage, you got a gift to go with it. This is not like rocket science for me, Russ. I'll show you.
Yeah. Rai versus the world asks, any half elf? Did I miss the half elf? Not as far as I can see, unless I also missed it.
But maybe you can have dual. What do they call it? Biology,
ancestries, mixed ancestry.
I don't know if you can or not. I don't know.
It might be that they're going down the route of these are species, and therefore you wouldn't get a mixing of it, which has its own problems. Anyway, sorry, moving on.
So anyway, you then choose your culture.
Yes, excellent.
And these add languages and skills.
Good.
So this is very A5E so far, to be honest.
I know. I'm approving of it. It sounds like the sort of setting inherent to it, which you could build on and say, yes, this is how this works, and that'd be good. Yeah.
You then choose a career.
Okay, yeah.
which I think is kind of a lot like a background. Basically, you can be a gladiator or a politician or something, and it gives you a bit of backstory, some perks, and you also have inciting incidents.
Oh,
Nice.
tell
I
me
like the
more
sound of
about
that.
those. What are
Yes.
those?
I don't know any more about that, to be honest.
Oh. Tease.
No, sorry,
So
sorry.
something would make us both go, "Ooh, okay."
Yeah, I mean, but backstory generated in character would actually be quite good because it's actually a fairly difficult problem to resolve. Because again, as I mentioned, many people do not enjoy homework in their TTRPGs. So one of the things I'm currently working on is a backstory generator. Has a writing frame to help people dig into their characters and
Yeah, that's what a
discover what they
life
want to
path.
talk
That's the
about.
beautiful thing about life path games. That's what I love about life path games because it does that for you. Brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has that feel, which I am enjoying. Like maybe not quite as hard as Traveller, but I feel not entirely dissimilar either. And
Well, I
lots of
guess
space for
like these
expansion.
sort of inciting incidents might be similar to like in backgrounds in our game. We have mementos and contacts, don't we? And then the contacts might be the army captain who abandoned you during that retreat, or a lost lover who you haven't seen since, or whatever. It'll be something like that. So that's similar, I think, in concept. I don't know how more in depth they go or not.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you got perks, which are kind of feats, which you can choose.
Yeah.
Complications, which are things like you might be a cult victim, or you might have a magical disease, or you might have an elemental that lives inside you, or something.
Okay. So there's the possibility of a bit of disability representation. Sadly, conspicuous by absence in the artwork, but these are just the covers.
Only showed you like
based on
2
the
pieces of
inside.
artwork.
Well, I can see
There's
3
art
on
on
the page.
every page. Every page in these
There
books
are
is
3
we're
pages that I
talking.
can see 3 pieces of art.
All right.
But
Okay, but that's just the ones I chose to show you. But there are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces of artwork in these books. So
looking
I
forward
don't
to
think you
finding
can
out
judge
more.
whether something's represented in the artwork or not just by looking at those
As
3
I say,
pieces.
there is the opportunity for disability representation. I am fingers crossed that they will come for it.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have the classes.
Mm.
So there are 9 classes. These are the censor, which is a bit like a paladin. We have the conduit, which I think is a bit clericy-ish.
Censor. How are you spelling censor?
Censor.
Okay. All right.
We have the elementalist.
Mhm.
We have the fury, which is kind of a barbarian.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
have the null, Null, which is a bit like a
Mm.
monk, I think. The shadow, which is a bit roguey.
Yeah.
Tactician, which is a bit fightery.
Well, a touch of martial, I would think. In fact.
No, yes, yeah, a bit.
The
Yeah.
warlord.
And fightery though.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. Right.
The talent, which is the psionic class.
Ah. Yes. That for me means that the null has like more. That I now hear talent and there's psychic powers. I now expect the null to have an effect which nullifies and has a calming effect around them, which gets rid of magic and so forth. I don't know, but that's what I'm expecting. No, I know. Back on.
And then we have the troubadour, which is basically their bard.
Yeah.
So it's got a level cap of 10, levels 1 to 10. But at each level, you are choosing between 60 to 100 features. You're choosing 60 to 100. You have a choice of between 60 and 100 features per level per class. It's that complex and dense and crammed. That's when I said it's a complex game. There's a lot of stuff in there. You go up a level, you've got a big old menu of stuff to choose from.
It's really
I
interesting.
mean, Jessica?
I was just thinking, we were saying earlier, there's some people that love building characters and trying stuff out. This seems like this is the game for them.
Yeah.
I think clearly one of the goals here is that no 2 characters will ever be the same. So I think the odds on 2 characters being the same, given the number of choices you're making at every single stage of the character creation process, would make the odds on 2 people having even vaguely similar characters at the table quite unlikely.
Yes. I am quietly hopeful that they will not have repeated the design processes of, say, 3rd edition and include trap options, so that you do not have to have complete system mastery before you start playing. And that you'll be able to pick stuff that you think sounds cool.
I do
and it will work.
feel that this game is one that will reward system mastery. The sense I get from this is
Yeah.
it is
Perhaps
that type of
yeah.
game.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, I don't
Perhaps
know
when
about
we've got it.
traps, but you know.
Yeah. Well, like traps were a thing by design in 3rd edition, which was as a choice. But anyway, yes. Back on. We talk about
Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so it's really interesting. You know, I don't know if I'd actually play it myself, but it's got
I think-
meta currencies. This is an interesting choice. It's got meta currencies, but
Yeah.
each class has a different meta currency.
Okay. Yep.
So we've got the Fury
Mhm.
gains ferocity when they take damage.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
The Troubadour gains drama when a number of your allies do a combo.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm quite liking this because you've got the 8 classes and the hype man, which, why not? But it feels like these meta currencies are, if I say player adjudicated, it's like, you would know your own meta currency as part of learning your character. And it feels very much like you are expected to learn your character because expecting your GM to know this is no bueno.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me go through them. So that was the Fury and the Troubadour's meta currency. The Censor gets Wrath when a judged target. So I guess one of the Censor's abilities is to judge a target. When they damage their judged target, or when their judged target damages you, the judged target feels like a marked target kind of thing. The Conduit gains piety by praying.
Okay.
The Elementalist gains essence by damaging their target.
All right. Yeah.
The Null gains discipline, and they get that when someone acts near them or when the GM uses malice, which is the GM's own meta currency.
I like that it's called Malice. That's very good.
Strong.
Yeah.
Like Doom was already
the
taken,
Shadow,
but Malice is a good one. Yeah.
The Shadows is called Insight. The Tacticians is called Focus, and the Talents is called Clarity. I mean, the Talents one, they gain clarity whenever there's a forced movement. Which is very specific, but still.
All these things are making me intrigued to play as a player, but I think I'll be a bit hesitant to GM this because I think this feels a bit like, and I don't want to belittle it by saying it, but there was a lot of spin-offs of D&D after 2021.
The D20 explosion,
yeah. And this feels like something that's really exciting for the players. And I know other systems are like exciting for the GM, but this, I don't know, this makes me want to be a player, but I don't think I'm rushing to run a game. From my immediate first impressions, maybe I'm missing things, but I would be interested in sitting down to the game. Maybe that's what I mean.
But hard to say.
Yeah. I mean, we can have a look at one of the classes here.
Oh, yes, please.
I've got a look at the Tactician there. I don't know if you can actually read that. It might not be a clear enough image. But you can see sort of what the Tactician looks like at character creation.
He sort of reminds me of like a Sikh bloke, which I know is a bit of a weird thing to say, but he's just got like that long flowing black hair. And martial and ready to kick ass and take names. Nice.
Yeah.
Some really good art there. And and you were telling me the layout was dense and all, but that's actually quite a friendly layout. They've clearly paid a good deal of money for graphic design, and it shows.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tables in this book, though.
Yeah, you've got
a lot of tables.
Health, skills, kits, basic attacks, resistance rolls, features, a list of them. There's a lot of information there. It is well laid out. But there's a lot of information there. This isn't a light role-playing game, but it never presented itself as such.
I am consumed with curiosity about the flavor text quote, which is being partially obscured by the logo of the show.
Hang on,
Yeah.
I can change that.
Yeah.
Let me just update that. It says, "Your line is broken, Varrox. Your wizard is dead. Haha, you should have negotiated."
Okay, I'm definitely warming to this game because like a good bit of flavor text is just like making me say, yes, I could see my. This tells me a lot about how the character should be played. I would argue. It's saying, yep, sucks to be you, suck.
Let's talk about combat a little bit, because this is a very combat-heavy game.
Draw Steel,
So it's
heavy game.
Tactical grid-based combat, and you
Yeah.
pretty much have to use a grid with this.
So that's fine.
Initiative is interesting. So initiative is alternating side initiative.
Okay.
So one side goes
popcorn.
first, they choose which one of them's going to act, then the other side goes, and then the first side goes, then the other side goes. Now, popcorn's slightly different. So popcorn is each person, after they've taken their turn, chooses who goes next. So that's popcorn initiative. And then it can be one of their own side or one of the other side, depending on how you want to kind of stack up like a bunch of people together or spread them out or whatever. This one, side-based, alternating side is the PCs go. So the PCs between them decide which one of them is going to go. Then the monsters go, and then the GM kind of decides which monster's going to go, and
so it's side by side, but nominate. So interesting. All right.
Yeah, I don't know how that works with unequal numbers on each side.
Well, indeed,
I assume there's it might be a mechanism where like the players have one and then the GM has two going or something. I don't know, but
I'm sure the action economy is finely balanced because
it
does not feel that they would neglect this important part.
Yeah. Well, the action economy. So your action's based into a move, a maneuver, and a main action. Although you can demote the main action to a move or a maneuver, I believe.
Okay.
There's loads of conditions: prone, restrained, taunted, and weakened, and so forth. As we mentioned earlier, damage is dealt every time you attack. Whether or it's not a you hit or you miss. It's you make the attack to see how good your attack is, and that's how much damage you do. So every attack will do something, even if it just weakens the enemy's stamina by a little bit, because it's defending against your attack.
Yeah. For example, and one of the things I'm noticing straight away is the tactician that you've got up here. I noticed they've got a taunt mechanic, which is deeply lacking from various forms of 5th edition. Because there's no real reason, as if you play a computer game, like often the enemies will just walk past your front line and attack the back line, and you're like, that's illegal. No, it's not. Oh, whereas here you can say, no, pay attention to me, which I'm intrigued by to see how that plays out. So
the combat, very, very strong focus on positioning and tactical play. There's a lot of things which sort of push enemies and do forced movement, and your exact position matters, and your height matters, and all this sort of stuff. So it's very, very sort of very tactical combat, very tactical and kind of cinematic. Everyone's jumping around and doing exciting things all the time.
Nice.
They also have a negotiation rule set in there as well. Basically, social combat in a way.
That makes sense based on the quote saying you should have negotiated.
Aha.
So an NPC. So an NPC has two scores. One is called interest, and one is called patience. And what you're trying to do is increase their interest without running out their patience. And they go from 0 to 5. So you want to try and get the interest up to 5 before the patience hits 0.
That's nice. I like that thematically, and also it seems simple enough mechanically.
Yeah. The way it's kind of presented is you make sort of social roles using reason, intuition, or presence, which are your kind of 3 mental ability scores. But also certain arguments. Each NPC has motivations and pitfalls.
Okay.
So if you use an argument or say something which matches a motivation, that will build interest. You don't know what the NPC's motivations and pitfalls are necessarily, unless you've maybe
But,
discovered
like,
them some other way.
If it was me, you could be like, Jess, why are we fighting? We could just go play Baldur's Gate 3.
Exactly.
That would be a strong.
And that would build interest.
It would.
And then if you say something which is one of their pitfalls, that
Yes.
will drain their patience.
Yeah. And she says, Baldur's Gate 3 is terrible. We shouldn't play it. We should play a better game.
Yes.
There's no accounting for taste, PJ.
Yeah.
I was just demonstrating a pitfall for you, which would,
Yes.
yeah, well, yeah. Oh, yikes. Anyway,
Yeah.
run, flee. Yeah, so that sounds pretty interesting. It reminds me very strongly of Exalted 2nd Edition, which also had a social combat thing, which worked pretty much exactly that same way, and which I quite enjoyed.
I'd love to see how it plays in play, because it's kind of, it does lean very much into making ability checks rather than role playing, but it does say that good role playing could mean an automatic success. So
Pushing aside the seething brew of toxicity, which is the phrase "good role playing" and what that means to people. Let us not. Let us move away from that. So, like, basically, you're doing a stunt, which is like, I think that's quite interesting, because you're sort of, it's adding a tactical element to a social situation in that you're trying to work out what people want, and then once you know roughly what they like and possibly dislike, then you would focus your arguments on that. And if you constructed a clever set of words to go through it, then maybe that would lower the difficulty class, or you gain bonuses from mentioning the right things, which would be more entertaining for the people at the table than saying, I'd like to roll to persuade them. So maybe that's what they are alluding to.
But bear in mind, there are no difficulty classes in this. You're never rolling against a target number. You're making your check, and then you're getting a tiered result.
Yeah, but presumably you'd add a bonus from getting these motivations, or whatever you're calling them.
I don't know whether that's a bonus, whether that just automatically sort of you hit one of their pitfalls, that automatically drains a point of patience, for example, or whether I don't know whether that's the case.
Yeah, like you construct a good enough speech, but that feels like that's relying on what I'd call a hard skill, which is the ability to think on your feet, to process language quickly and effectively, which I happen to be quite good at because I have spent years practicing how to do that sort of thing, and which other people find extremely difficult because they have problems with processing language. So, there are definitely it's actually a really complicated topic. So I'll shut up now.
Okay.
I sense Russ's patience will be draining rapidly.
Do you have anything to pique his interest? Look, a dog.
Yes, the dog would do it.
Yeah.
What else have we got? So we got some downtime stuff, which can include some great big large scale things like roads and things, building roads and airships.
Yeah,
so if you do big projects during your downtime. I think that's kind of covered most of what I know about this game, to be honest. There's obviously tons more to say about it, but I haven't played the game. I couldn't say. I mean, the news really is it's out, and this is the small amount of stuff that I know about it is what the news is.
Yeah, I mean, as a GM, I would be interested in, can I farm off the building various creations and so forth to the players so they can do all the hard work, and I can say, oh yeah, good job, you've completed all the bits and pieces, or would I have to do more work for them, like make witness rolls and so forth, which not my favorite thing to do, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of the world building stuff is kind of strongly written into the game, especially with a lot of the sort of devils and psionics and almost bordering on sci-fi stuff at times.
Yeah.
Very much built into sort of actual existing world lore, which I assume comes from an existing world, maybe Matt Colville's own setting perhaps, or I don't know, but that seems quite heavily baked in.
Yeah, like it's a game where you have to embrace weird fiction, which
Mm.
I'm not against. I think weird fiction is quite cool. Although, will I like the setting that they produce enough to really get into it? I don't know. That's a problem because I don't enjoy reading encyclopedias. Some people do. Fair play to them. Glad for them. Like, everyone should have their own fun. But for me, if you give me like this whole gazetteer or manual of the planes or something, it's like, it doesn't excite me. But that's just a me problem. So
Yeah, a lot of people love that stuff though. A lot of people will
a lot of people
like
really love that stuff.
buy those Forgotten Realms books and pour over them. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of people like those stuff. Or those coffee table books about. We got a coffee table book about the alien. It's called the Weyland Yutani manual, research manual or something. Coffee table book, and
manual. Yeah, exactly. It's got all the details and lots of.
And a lot of people love that stuff, and we'll just pour over that.
I mean, I have read a Michael Crichton book or two in my time. I'm not averse to it, like, you know, in a fictionalized setting, but I do prefer. But it's the sort of thing that would make me want to learn by playing rather than by reading. So, you know, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be for me. It can be for other people, and maybe they'll enjoy it. In fact, it sounds like if you like really complicated systems with lots of customizability, lots of granularity, lots of little knobs to twiddle, and you want to really dig into lore and have it be strongly reflected in your character choices, this does sound like it's going to be an excellent system.
Yeah, I agree. But I just feel it just got slightly, eclipsed by Daggerheart's massive PR juggernaut in the last few weeks. Or maybe they're just waiting for the Daggerheart PR juggernaut to die down a bit, and then they're going to do one of their own because, MCDM has a big reach. Big reach. So maybe give it 2 or 3 months when Daggerhearts has died down a bit. We're going to be hearing about Draw Steel constantly, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's entirely possible. People have to actually read the books first. And maybe there'll be a nice YouTube explainer. You never know.
There's loads of YouTubes about it if you want to go and look for them. Yeah.
Okay.
I watched a couple, but most of them are like 7 hours long, and I'm like, I don't have 7 hours.
7 hours. My interest has been piqued. I think if I see this being run at a convention, I would jump to have a play and see what it's about. I'm not willing to buy it and run it though. But I do want to. I am interested. I definitely. It's one of those games I want to play to see if I like it first. You know, sometimes you hear about a game and you're like, "That's for me." Gonna buy that. It's not one of those for me, but I'm very interested. I think it. I like a lot of the things you mentioned. So watch this space.
I think the Draw Steel starter set is going to the quick start guide. That's going to be something that I would probably want to pick up and have a look at.
They're also working on their own VTT as well.
Wow. Okay. So
virtual tabletop.
Will that have character building in as well, or?
Yeah.
I assume so. I'd be amazed if it didn't.
I can't imagine it not. Yeah. What is the point? I guess because also they would really struggle to get Demi playing or something to do it for them, and I don't think D&D Beyond would be up to the job, to be honest. Just too many options for that interface.
Well, D&D Beyond doesn't do anything but D&D. There aren't any non-D&D products on D&D Beyond. This is not D&D, or even much like it.
Yeah, ironically, they don't go beyond D&D.
Yes, you would have thought they would, wouldn't you? Yeah. So Ryan versus the World said in the chat, I'm just worried about the everyone hits all the time thing. I just wanted to sort of mention that very quickly because I don't think that's what it is. Because they very specifically don't have hit points.
Yes.
They have stamina. And what that is saying is you went to swing at them and they blocked your attack, but it used up a little bit of their stamina to do so.
Yeah.
I think, if you attack and you just get like a tier 1 thing, you do a little bit of stamina damage to them. What it is they've exerted some stamina defending against your attack. So I don't think it is everyone hits all the time.
It's a different strategy than playing in D&D, because in D&D, if you hit every time, it's like, well, we just have to keep going, and eventually we're going to grind them down. But like you mentioned, Russ, because it doesn't work like that. It's not like it's going to be just a grind of how many hit points to bring it down by. It's a different thing.
Well, like this and I don't propose going into this in depth, but we don't actually really understand what hit points are because they've never been properly defined as a concept.
They've been defined a lot of times. It's just that everybody just likes having that argument and claims they haven't been.
Sure. It's been defined a lot of times. So you can stab a level 20 barbarian, like, I don't know, 80, 90, 100 times.
We can have this conversation, but we can have this conversation. But we know all of the arguments on either side of that conversation and how that conversation goes. There's no point having it.
I feel stamina is maybe a bit better defined. I don't think that they have been well defined, in my opinion. But you differ, and I think maybe that's part of the problem. So I don't know if that helps you out, Rye versus World, but yeah, like, don't think of it hit points, think of it stamina.
So I did watch a bit of a YouTube of them playing this,
Nice.
and they were in this combat, and I didn't watch it in full. I scrubbed through it because it was long. I was just trying to get a sense, but there was, just to get an idea of the complexity of it. And we were sort of saying that, this sounds like this will speed combat up, and I said, no, I don't think it will, because the actual result was, certainly in the video I watched, and that was by MCDM, they were fighting like 6 goblins, and it took them an hour, which was a long time, a long time.
What was the hold up for us?
Because everything's there's so much detail and so much fiddly stuff going on constantly. Working out exact positions and movement and all this sort of stuff, and people are using all these different abilities. And so while the actual attack roll is boiled down to one roll, it makes up for complexity in other ways.
Right. Okay.
6 really hench goblins, maybe.
Yeah, and one of my problems with games is sort of like, even in D&D I get this, is generally when it comes down to my turn, I know what I'm doing, and I'll say what I'm doing, and my turn will be over within sort of 17 seconds. Really quick. I know what I'm doing, and I do it, and then I sit there and I wait 20 minutes for my next turn, and I'm having 17 minutes of gameplay every 20 minutes. I just switch off. Like, I just get so bored. I switch off. I tune out of the game completely. So I think this probably helps a little with that, but it does worry me, with the fact that everyone's doing stuff all the time. But it does worry me that combats can take an hour to fight 6 goblins. That worries me a little, because I remember those D&D 40 fights that just dragged on and on and on and on, and they're just too long.
But as I understood it, the main problems were big bags of hit points, and even when you basically won, there was still a grind ahead, and also there are a lot of reactions out of turn. So if someone did something,
which slows things down a lot.
And I can see, like, as a GM, I would have a nightmare time keeping track of that sort of thing. So interesting stuff. No, but it does sound like it'd be fun, and I think it'd be. I'm with Jess here. I would love to play this game. Love to run, not so much.
It does look amazing. It looks like an accomplishment. It looks like a really, really heavily engineered, well-crafted game. It's gorgeous. It's complex and tactical. I haven't, as I say, played it. I don't know whether that translates to actual play, but I suspect they've done an awful lot of play testing, so I suspect it does. I don't know. I liken it to kind of like almost like Pathfinder 2E, as compared to 5E, and that is, more so. It goes further.
It's more Pathfinder 2E than Pathfinder 2E is, which is I think very technical accomplishment. What I would love is I would love the computer game version. I'd like just like play it online with mates and do a run through, and then I can be an expert on my character. I'm having a good time, and you're just like watching, and the computer does all the heavy lifting, which would be nice.
Yeah. Anyway, that is basically all I have to say about Draw Steel.
It was quite a lot you had to say. Thanks for sharing it.
It was quite a lot, I did a big old dive this morning. They're about £50 per book, £50 per book. I think it was like 52 or something. Well, there were 48 last week when I looked, so they've changed, but there were like 52 for each of the 2 books. You get the PDF with it.
That's good. So
I
it's
don't know what that is in
£100
dollars. Yeah, and so in
what, about
dollars, it's
$140, unless they're selling them cheaper over there.
a bit less than that. But yeah.
Around about that mark, 130. Yeah.
That's what I'd expect to pay for a system like this. That sounds what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Right,
solid.
shall we move on?
Yes, let's.
Right, I think we've got a big old section where it's all about you now, Peter.
PJ,
We've got a whole lot of
it's
stuff that
found
you put up on the list on the running order. So let's do them.
Okay.
Are we ready for number 1?
Okay. Apocalypse World Burned Over. Oh, okay. No, we're going to something else. We're going to a
No,
comprehensive
we're
guide.
doing them in the order they're in the running order. And the first
Yeah.
one is a comprehensive guide to TTRPG art, commissioning, and licensing.
Yeah. No. This was on I want to say Eric Corner's Patreon. I've not particularly heard of them before, but I had a look, and it was one of those sets of information where it took my understanding, because obviously I have done some commissioning and helped people with licensing for their art in TTRPG terms, and it really filled in a lot of blanks for me. It's a fairly lengthy document, but it is for free, which is a hard price to beat. And to the best of my understanding, it is also accurate. So if you are a designer working in the TTRPG space, or an artist, I would say, working in the TTRPG space, then this is very much worth looking at, because it gives you ballpark figures for prices.
Does it talk about prices of that?
It does talk about prices, so obviously there will be some dating to it, but like it's mentioning like $500 for a cover, which was pretty interesting, and goes through and looks at things like half pages and quarter pages, and acknowledges and brings out the discrepancies between how TTRPG publishers that are well established, like on the company scale, work, and it's like looking at it from an artist's perspective, and it says things that are true, like having backgrounds on a quarter page piece isn't really going to be that much cheaper because you still got a lot of work, whereas like a quote piece of spot art, which is something like a sword or like a skull, no background, less work. And I'm like, yeah, this is a really helpful thing. So to me, I felt it was really helpful and made a lot of sense and really help disambiguate a lot of the murkiness that surrounds trying to buy and sell art for your TTRPG.
Nice. Sounds like a good resource.
Yeah. I mean, and as I say, it's like someone's Patreon post and they put it out for free. So I've joined their Patreon on the basis of it, because it's like, well, this is good sense, and that is rare nowadays. I'm interested, yeah. But yeah, so like not a huge amount to say about it. Check out the full details in the show notes.
I'm looking at it now. It's long. It's an enormous post. It's going to take you a good couple of hours to read through it. It's big.
Yeah, I have not got to the end of it, but from the bits I worked through, it filled in some gaps in my knowledge, made some really good points, and yeah, like I have it bookmarked. I'm definitely going to go back and have more of a read. I thought I would share it with our audience. As I say, as you say, a big old post. We cannot do it justice in time that we've got remaining.
Okay, next, tell us about Revolution Inc.
Revolution Inc. Right. That is a. Sorry, let me just grab up the notes because I do have quite a lot of stuff. That is a choose your own adventure book, which is in hypertext format, which I was pretty excited about. It is by AC Danvers, and you are, as I recall, playing it's got sort of a Blade Runner feel. You're playing a bunch of robots or something that are trying to join the ranks of a Revolution Incorporated, and they're troubleshooters who are the galaxy leader in all forms of direct action, as sanctioned by the Charter on Galactic Insurrection. Are you resisting an alien occupation, overthrowing wrongly elected socialist leaders, or sabotaging dangerous international diplomacy? Revolution is the first choice of the galaxy's finest corporations who seek only the freedom and liberty to ply their trades among the stars, uninhibited by misguided ideals and anti-capitalist sentiments. So, for those who are like saying, what on earth is this? I would say it's basically the CIA role-playing game and industry leaders in destabilization, insurrection, and regimes change since 2086. So a thinly veiled metaphor for CIA. And if you are interested in overthrowing popular movements and installing your own corrupt dictatorships, this could be the game for you. Villains has protagonists is a valid way to play.
Fair.
Okay.
I know we have
Okay.
a whole bunch of cool crowdfunding things we've seen. So
Yes.
maybe because we've been going on a while, maybe if we do a quick whistle stop, some shout outs of some fun things that have been seen.
Okay, so number 1, Apocalypse World Burned Over.
Yes, this is not a current Kickstarter, but for people who are fond of genre emulators, this is the granddaddy of them all. Apocalypse World First Edition, created powered by the Apocalypse, and has had countless imitators and users of the game system over the years. Vince and Megway Baker, I feel it's an important piece of art. People should be aware of it, so that's what I'm shouting out. Not currently a Kickstarter, but preparing.
It's coming soon, isn't it? Is that correct?
That is
coming soon, and this is basically the 3rd edition of Apocalypse World, basically.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And even if you haven't played Apocalypse World, you may well have played a game that was powered by the Apocalypse, because there's so many of them out there. It's a big, influential game.
If you manage to avoid playing it somehow, do let us know, because I'm like, good job. How did you manage?
A lot of people just play D&D, as you know.
But I assume our listeners listening to this general TTRPG podcast are interested in games other than D&D as well as D&D. So there we go.
Well, who knows?
Discerning listeners.
Or me.
Okay. Next one was one I saw. Pendragon, 50 years old now. 1985 was when Pendragon first came out. And they are republishing the original edition, the 1985 edition.
I will say this is 40 years old, but
yeah.
Continue.
I was about to say, not
40, sorry, yes, not 50, yes. Yeah, so the company, Chaosium, is 50 years old this year.
You had me worried about my age.
Yes.
I was also born in the 80s, and I was like, how old am I? Did I age 10 years?
The power of confidence.
It's been a really long podcast. What can I tell you?
We've been recording it for 10 years, so yeah. No.
So, Chaosium is 50 years old. Pendragon is 40 years old.
Correct.
Yes.
There we go.
I feel like we had a new edition of Greg Stafford's masterpiece, magnum opus, just
last year.
2 years ago. Was it just last year that it came out? Okay.
Yeah. But this isn't a new edition. This is the original 1985 one. They're just republishing it as a sort of collector's piece, I guess. So exactly as it was back then as well. They're not changing it. They're not updating it. They're just republishing the same book.
Classic edition, nostalgia value, good times.
Yeah.
It's nice cover. Yeah.
I've not played Pendragon, but I know a lot of people have a lot of good things to say.
No.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Next on the menu is, what's this? Full Send. A tarot-based mountaineering RPG, which is a combination of words which I never expected to see.
Yeah.
You have, with laser accuracy, identified why I thought I would flag this up, because I'm like, this sounds absolutely mad. This is a live Kickstarter 12 days ago, as of the 5th of September. It's done 4,140 of a £4,500 goal. So I'm going to say it will fund. I feel pretty confident at this stage. 143 backers. It's looking at real life mountain peaks from Everest to El Capitan. And it has like a game which involves using tarot cards to conquer these summits. Is
this a solo game or?
I don't know, to be honest. I imagine it is compatible with solo.
Right.
It's designed for 3 to 5 players and a facilitator.
Okay, so it's not a solo game. Okay,
not a solo game. I think like a solo mode would be great, but yeah, it lets you do existing peaks and also procedurally generated, so you can make your own. And let's talk about tarot powered and trick taking, which is, I'm not 100% sure on card game things, but basically like making a suit or something. Jessica, do you know what trick taking would mean, possibly?
I'm bad at giving a succinct
definition
explanation, so I'm going to move on.
Yeah, fair enough. And apparently a lot of the fun is in the downtime where you have freeform roleplay between actually finding yourself up a mountain. So yeah, looks like
That's
it's
nice.
going to be I thought by Laurie O'Connell. I looked at it and thought, oh, this is pretty cute. Looks like a safe place to put your money, to be honest.
Looks like something different as well. Like that's a
yeah. Like it's not D&D. Hey,
indeed. I was just thinking.
I have not climbed a mountain unless you count Snowdon. I have, but you don't really climb Snowdon. You walk up Snowdon.
Yeah, you can even stroll if you want, and there's a train.
A gentle stroll. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next one.
Oh, this one.
Pergamino Barocco.
Yes.
Is that one of those effervescent supplements you get that you put in your water?
Well, certainly if you get this, it may well make you feel better. This is actually a physical prop. It is an unfolding spell book. Which, like, it's expensive to back. I will say, by the way, it has funded on £8,500 of £6,000 goal with 20 days to go and 313 backers. It's if you scroll down, you can see that it basically comes out like an accordion.
Oh, right, okay,
so,
cool.
Yeah, and just like full of. As a LARPer, Jess, you might also find this pretty interesting to have a look at, because, like, if you just want to be like sitting there looking at a book full of intriguing and mysterious, like almost like alchemist style illustrations, then this very much has you covered. It comes in digital format as well, but there's a lot of. It's basically like if you've ever looked at like a really old book that people wrote on magic, you would have a good time looking at this. So by Paolo Greco, very high production values, looks really cool. Basically, I thought I would shout out because it's not something you see every day.
Okay. There's another two on the list here, which I'm fairly sure weren't there when I did the slides. But there's Skies Above and Asher's Ridge.
Okay. I did them all at the same time.
So I don't have graphics for those, I'm afraid.
Okay. Well, Skies Above we've actually covered on this podcast previously. It's by Lost Haven Games, and I learnt what an Ashcan edit was, which I didn't know previously. It's so this is just launched. It's a JRPG style thing. This is the one with like the cute little cats with like a little tam o' shanters and a little harp. It's got wings, and I went through it. Quite enjoyed it. Full of illustrations by the creator. and leaning into the JRPG business. I haven't seen the latest draft, but they're going to go for a full hardcover, A4 size. There's going to be good art. They've got classes. I mean, it's a JRPG. If you know what JRPG is and you like that sort of thing, it's quite good.
Is that a bit like a J.R.R. Tolkien?
No.
Exactly. Yes. You should back it on that basis.
I know what one of those is.
Yeah, sure. It's got like different classes, different species, and so I'd say I thought it looked pretty good. The creator describes himself as more of an illustrator than a designer, so as I say, I do find the art to be rather charming, especially the little cats. They're extremely cute. So have a look. Maybe you'll like it, maybe you won't. There's certainly some rather nice artwork and assets going on. The art style won't be for everybody, but if you do like it, and JRPG anime style, Russ, not a big fan. I like it. Who can say? Yeah.
And what was the other one? Ashes Ridge, a paranormal drama.
Ashes Ridge. Yes.
Yes. This is by Montfort Tales, who is a name that's familiar to me from seeing them doing various other things. But where is? Sorry, I've lost my page. Oh, no.
I don't know, it's your news piece. I can't help you.
I'm guessing it's some sort of paranormal drama.
Yeah. So if you liked the X-Files.
Look, I was trying to do some filler, Russ. That was all the information I had.
Yeah. If you liked the X-Files, Twin Peaks, Stranger Things, that's paranormal drama. And so it's like really leaning into like the TV style. Like it's got sort of an explanation of how to play it, which seems to involve cards and Scrabble pieces. It seems like it's very like a very narrative heavy game, like what I would call a genre emulator. So if you get this game and you like the flavor of that sort of investigation of the paranormal and things are very, very weird, then you're going to have a really excellent time emulating it. Not something that I myself would necessarily leap at, but I certainly can see the value of this. I respect it. And they've got some really nice artwork, very quirky, and I don't know what to say. It looks really good.
I know.
I recognise a good RPG product whilst maybe not wanting to play it myself, but I'm like, this looks good. I could see this being fun. I might even play it if I saw it at a convention. I'm not rushing out to buy it, but on the other hand, I'm like, people will see this and will appreciate the joys of it. It says you need 100 letter tiles, so if you've got a couple of sets of Scrabble things and a set of poker cards, like regular playing cards. So bananagrams. There's a lot of stuff. They've got various videos on how to play it and so forth, and stretch goals. So it's already smashed through most of the stretch goals. So you're going to get things like foil details and location and risk deck, 2 bookmark ribbons in the collector's edition. Always a strong
bookmark ribbon,
spray book block edges. I mean, basically, this feels like it's going to be a very pleasant physical experience to own this book. Really high-end stuff. So, there we go.
Very nice.
Okay. And I think we're done there, except to mention our upcoming Kickstarter even, coming up very soon. The What Sword is New Bestiary is launching. When is it launching, Jess?
I think we're planning on the 16th of September, but at the moment we're just publicly saying September because we're waiting on some stars to align.
Okay. But we do have a quick look at another monster. This is the Fire Dragon.
Rah.
You can see that in close up on EN World because that's a bit small and blurry. But that's the stat block of the Fire Dragon, which is a terrible, terrible monster which will burn you alive and then eat you while you are cooked.
Better known to me as Sir Roffy from To Save a Kingdom.
Yes, that's a classic sort of Claudio Pozas art piece he did for us, and we used it here because it's just so gorgeous.
Yeah, because for a different system, why not? A dragon is a good dragon. But yeah,
I've actually got that on the wall in my lounge as well, framed. Nice big version of it. It's gorgeous.
And if you want more previews of this and you are a press person, if you talk about things on social media or on the internet about tabletop role-playing games and you're not on the press list, send me an email and you can go on the press list and I'll send you some other previews so you can share it with your audience.
And with that, I think we're done for the week.
I think so. We were, as always, were recording live, which we forgot to mention at the top, but we'll mention at the end. And so if next week you would like to join us, we'll be streaming live 2 p.m. UK time, which is 9 a.m. Eastern time, and that'll be on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, and you can join in the chat with us.
And if you lasted the whole 3 hours and 52 minutes, whatever it was, it was nearly 2 hours, I think we did today. It's a long one, very long one. I cannot wait till I have to go and transcribe it for the subtitles. Yeah, that's going to be amazing.
To be fair, we did used to do 2 hour podcasts all the time. So, yeah.
We did, but we didn't have to transcribe the subtitles for them because it was just a podcast and not a video.
That's true, that's true.
I can see what my weekend's going to be.
Yay!
Woo!
Well, why don't we leave and get that weekend started?
Let's go and do that.
We'll speak to you all next week.
Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you all next week. Same bat time, same bat place.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All the tabletop role-playing news. We aim to amuse and we aim to enthuse. And Morris's unofficial tabletop RPG.